next speaker is Agnieszka Zygmunt. She's come from Krakow to be here today. She is the lead UX researcher at 10 Clouds. Yeah, this is going to be some real talk. Like we make a lot of promises when we're promoting our products, telling customers what they're going to get from our products. It's time to stop the bullshit, is what Aga's going to tell us here. We need to stop promising too much and start delivering. Please give a big warm welcome to Agnieszka Zygmunt.
I need to check if it's working. Yeah, it's working. So thank you for the introduction. As you know, my name is Agnieszka Zygmunt. You can call me Aga because I know it's easier, and I'm the lead UX researcher in 10 Clouds. So that means on one hand, I'm leading the team of UX experts in our company, but still on another hand, I'm doing the research, especially when we are talking about discovery. So like working with startups or even enterprises, but they have a new fancy idea for the product. So I need to check if it's truly fancy idea or maybe it's something that we should not do. And also I'm working with bigger contexts, so it's normal for me that then I'm designing the whole services. And yes, today I want to tell you something more about promises and over-promising. But before that, I want to tell you how I wanted to play a game. I'm from Poland, and maybe you know that in Poland we have quite big gaming community, and we have also top companies like, for example, CD Projekt Red, and they produce like The Witcher, and I'm a fan of this game. I was playing all 2 parts, and if you know something more about this, you can find out that it's a really good game. Like sometimes people are still telling that this is one of the best games ever made. Like the reviews are really on high level. So it was quite normal for me that when they announced that there will be a new game, Cyberpunk, I was excited. Like, it was something for me because like I can discover it will be like open world, it will be something more futuristic, like something really, really for me. But then something happened. Like, it wasn't that bad, but it's still not that good as The Witcher. Like, everything was mixed. Of course, they launched this too early, but if we will make a step back and think about what happened, we can find out that there is this wave of the expectations. So they started with the promises from the company. It's normal because it's the marketing. Then we have this Witcher quality. So it's something that it's also in our mind that if they produce such a good game, The Witcher, probably the next one will be even better. And of course, we have this whole marketing hype. And then we have launch, and we have this situation when the expectation meet the reality. And there's this situation that people are fighting bugs. There was a lot of lags. Of course, it was the first impression was really, really bad. And it's something that it's sometimes like with Cyberpunk in gaming industry. But when I was thinking about the situation, I find out that it's happening in everyday life. Like, if we are going for the vacation, like, it's normal that we are seeing such a beautiful pictures, and then it's not the same place when we are here. When we are thinking, for example, about food industry, we are even used to it, that we are seeing burgers that are looking so amazing, but when we order it, it's not even close to what we have on the pictures. And it's not only this problem, it's also digital problems, because how many times you see, for example, a new extra money app, and they are promising that you will save easily lots of money by using it. But it's just Excel and budget. Like, maybe like with better visual style, but still it's the same function. And by looking about this over-promising in all of the cases, we have 3 main points. So the first one is about that we are promising to solve something that we are not able to solve. Not because like this is not working, but because we are talking about the big picture. It's like with this budget, like this tool to save lots of money. Of course, it can be part of the service, but we need to have more. We need to have habits. Maybe we need to have the mentor to tell us what we should do. Maybe we need to have even like, I don't know, support group to do better habits related to the money. The second one is that we have this communication, but without communication to reality. So like we are saying that we will solve your problem, but we don't have features to do this when we are thinking, for example, about apps. Or maybe we have the features, but when you have this app on your phone, you find out that you need to pay to have these features. So this is the second one. And the third one, especially when we are thinking about startups and new companies, that we are focusing only on acquiring new customers. So it's not user-centric, it's rather like we need to have numbers. Like, if they will stay with us, it doesn't matter. We need to have numbers. And this is not the best approach, because if we look for the research, for example, for Harvard Business, we can easily find out that acquiring a new customers is 25 more times costly than having and keeping a current one to earn the same amount of money. But it's everything when we are thinking about these 3 points, about the over-promising. When we are trying to solve this problem, we are thinking, okay, like if we don't want to over-promise, we need to focus on promise. But it's not true, because over-promising, it's not only about the promise. When we are thinking about over-promising, we have 3 main points. So we have promise, we have expectation, and we have experience at the end. It's looking simple, but it's not as simple. Because starting from the beginning, when we have the promise, of course, we have some level of the promise by level of fulfilling of this promise. So for example, having enough features in the app, we have the experience at the end. If the level of fulfillment is on the same level as a promise, it's really easy. But when we have a big promise, but we are only able to fulfill half of this, the experience won't be as good as we want it to have for the user. So this is like the first part. It's really easy. And to better explain this to you, we can think about food apps. As you know, as you know or don't know, I'm living in Poland. I'm living in bigger city in Krakow, but my brother is living in smaller city. It's hard one. It's Chrzanów. So he's living in Chrzanów, and it's quite normal that when you have bigger cities, you have all these food apps when you can order the food to your doors. And it's quite also normal that all the companies want to introduce the service to smaller cities too. So what's happened in Chrzanów with my brother, that he found out that, yeah, he can download the app. And he had this promise that, yeah, you will have your favorite food at your house without going out. Or you can order the favorite food from your restaurant because we have the delivery option. But there were 2 issues. First of them is that even if he's living in center of the city and there's a bunch of restaurants, it's not a small city, it's like the middle one. He found out that he can order only from one of them because the rest of the restaurants were not in the database. And the second issue, even if you were trying to order from specific restaurant with the possibility to deliver, after the whole process, looking what he wants to eat, everybody knows how hard it is to find out what you want to eat. And so if you went through the whole process and you are seeing at the end that, yeah, you can order this, but you need to pick this app because you're not in the delivery area, he's living in the center. It's something that it's not building a good experience at the end. So the problem here wasn't about the function even. It wasn't about the app. It was about that they were not able to deliver the promise to have a good experience at the end because there was something with logistics. There was lack of restaurants in the database. There was lack of thinking about how big delivery area should be to deliver in this city. The next point is the expectation. And also, like, we are thinking, we have the promises. If you promise something, people will be expecting. But still, it's not that easy. Of course, promises are shaping the expectations, but there's more things. We can have like some experience with competitors, or competitors maybe are promising something to our clients. We have previous experience. Maybe the user has some needs, and even if we are not promising this, they are thinking, okay, this is the base for me. So I'm expecting that it will be in your product. And a really good example, as I said, I'm living in Poland, gaming community, so also I'm a gamer. And my first experience with games was the Neverhood. I don't know if any one of you know this game. It's really old, but but it's really great. It's really great. I was like 5 or 6 when my father bought the first computer, and it was the first game I was ever played. It's about like that you have some puzzles, you have this hero, you have some puzzles, and the whole game is about that you need to collect some discs to watch the video at the end. And there is even this quest when you have the hole, really long hole, and you need to walk down this hole to collect the disc and go back, nothing more. And I remember from my childhood that I was doing this one quest for hours. It was like hours to walk down the hole to collect the disc and go back. So you can imagine how I was excited when I find out, yeah, I can install this on my own computer right now. I can play. Of course, I'm adult, so I understand that it won't be the same level of excitement when I will be playing, because then I was a child. Probably the puzzles will be easier for me. But at least I was expecting that I will be able to play like whole weekend. And you know what? This quest I was telling about, this few hours going when you need to walk down the hole, it takes me 5 minutes. Because what happened is that my first computer was so slow that I wasn't able to do this faster. And I finished the whole game in 2 hours. So it wasn't about the promises from the game. It was all about my previous experience, about the expectations I built by myself, by remembering that I can play for hours in this game. And this is the reason why the experience at the end wasn't on the level that I was expected. And then we have the experience. So also, we are thinking like experience is really easy because somebody is doing something at the moment. This is the experience part. But it's not that easy, because experience had 2 parts. One of them is the current situation, so what we experience when we are doing something related with the service. But also we have the second part, so what we will remember after the experience. And if something is experienced, don't mean that it will be remembered, because when we have the customer journey, of course we have like this neutral path in the middle, when it's okay, like I'm doing some actions, but also we have some ups and downs. So it's about all the good emotions, we have something unexpected, and also we have some issues and problems. So this is about this downs voice. And it's like with holidays. A few years ago, I was doing like a long trip through Europe. It was quite an unusual one, because we just decided, yeah, we can take a car and go. And we were booking like the places to sleep the day before or even at the same day. And when we were in Montenegro, we found out, okay, we need to find a place to sleep. So we need to have the parking spot, we need to have bed, and it need to be the same price we wanted to have, because we didn't have a big budget. And everything was great. We find this place. This is like the original pictures of this place. It was looking quite nice. And everything, like the whole journey related to going to this place was awful. Because when I started, like first we were lost. Then I find out that when I turn on the internet, I received a text that I need to pay like a few hundred zlotych, because I don't have the limit. I forget that I'm in a different country and I don't have the limit internet. So I need to pay a big bill for just looking for the location. When we find out the way how we can go to the parking spot, we find out that all the streets are closed and there's police everywhere, because there's something like national holiday. So you can imagine what I was feeling when I was knocking the door to this building. But then something happened. The person, the host, who opened the doors to me, he started to speak to me in Polish. And if you remember the name of the city, Chrzanów, or my name, Agnieszka, you can imagine how hard it is to learn Polish. This person was from Montenegro. This person wasn't any related with Polish people. He wasn't living in Poland, doesn't have wife or anybody from Poland. So it was like, what? You're speaking my language? And like on a really, really good level. And after years, because it was, as I said, it was like 5, 6, or even more years ago, I don't know. But after years, even if the whole trip was awful, especially the beginning, and also some things during being in Montenegro, the only thing I remember when somebody is asking me about this trip is my host was speaking Polish. It was nice. This is the app when we are thinking about the customer journey that I have from this service, because like still it's the service. It's not the digital product, but still it's the service. It's the customer journey I had. So we have these 3 points. We have the promise, we have the expectation, and have the experience. And 3 main things we need to remember about this is that, first of all, everything is connected, because the promise is shaping the expectations, but promise also, like fulfillment of the promise, is shaping the experience we will have. The expectation is shaping the experience, but also the expectation can shape the promises, because if somebody is expecting something, probably it will be good for us to also use this in the communication at the beginning to be able to do the promise. The second thing, that the experience, it's not only like the last point, and we need to forget about this. Like, okay, they experience something, it's nice. No, because experience is also shaping, but the future expectations and the future promises. It's like with this game. If somebody experienced something, probably they will remember something from this. And we need to consider all the experience they have in the past to be able to to understand the expectations and give a good promises. And the last one, if we really want to do something to not overpromise, we should not focus on promises. We should focus on expectations, because it's all about understanding the expectations, and lack of this understanding is just a simple way to overpromise. And by understanding expectations, as you know from examples, it's not only about the user, like needs and problems they have, like we have, for example, on persona template. It's also about the business. It's also about the market, about the competitors, everything, the whole context that's related to the expectations. And there's always a question, like, okay, so we know that we have these 3 points. We know that we need to understand, but how we can understand better? So when we are working with clients, we have 4 main rules. The first one is to include the past in building the context, because as you know from my previous seconds of talking about this, it's that we have the current situation, but user expectations are also built by previous situation. So of course, current situation is really important, because we have needs, we have problems, we have solutions they are using right now, but everything what was done before, all the solutions they were using, all the problems they had, and somebody maybe fulfill or maybe not fulfill them, the needs they have, all the experience, it's also shaping the expectations. The second one, really important, is that we should fit the first touch point to the persona. And something that I heard on the first year at my university, when somebody asked me, do you know why cheap yogurt look cheap? And I was like, I don't know, maybe we can do this more fancy. But there's a reason why yogurt look cheap, because if we are doing cheap yogurt, so inside of the box, there will be a cheap yogurt. We have 2 issues if we will try to do this more fancy, because it's about the promising. Promising and over-promising, it's not only about the communication, it's also about the branding, visual style, every communication we are giving to the user. Because if we will take a cheap yogurt and do this more fancy way looking, we have two issues. First of all, the target group we want to have, the target group who is expecting to have a cheap yogurt, they will be looking for the shelves and thinking, okay, like this is not for me. It's not looking for this price, because first we are looking for how something is looking. We are looking for branding, then we are looking for price to confirm. So we have the situation when we are losing the group we want to attract. But there's also the second issue, even from my perspective, even worse, that if we have like this fancy branding, but still with cheap yogurt inside, we are able to attract people who are thinking that it will be fancy yogurt. So they will be taking our product, they will be opening our product, they will find out that it tastes awful, probably, and then it will be like, we didn't expect this. Like our experience is on a really low level, so they will be giving us a bad reviews. And this is the same with all the products, all the services we are doing. If the first touch point to the persona is not the touch point that will fit their needs and their expectations, we have a really easy way to overpromise and to attract the target group who is not our target groups. It's that the product will be okay. Like the yogurt still will be okay. The problem will be that the different target group is using it, the target group we don't want to have. And if we will fit the first touch point of the persona, then we can do something extra that they did not expect. It's like with this speaking Polish, in my case of my vacation. So like we have something normal at the beginning, and then we have something extra. Like going back to this yogurt, if we have cheap yogurt, but it tastes like the best yogurt ever, probably this person will be telling other, and there will be lots of recommendation like, you need to try this. It's cheap, but it still have like wonderful taste. So it's really helping us to build this up in the customer journey. And the last one, it's about competitors, because we are all, I hope, doing the analysis of competitors sometimes, but in lots of the cases we are thinking about them as inspiration, like doing the benchmarking, what they are doing on the market, what we can do better or the same. But if you will analyze your competitors to better understand the expectations, to look for the insights related with the expectations they are giving, the promises they are giving to users, it will be like a really great base for you to better understand the target group you want to reach. But it's really important that we should treat this as something to better understand, not to copy, because if we will copy our competitors, we'll be just the same. Like nothing will change. We'll be just another product, another app, another service with the same promises all of that again. So just to sum up, because I see that I'm missing my time, that it's the only one thing I want to tell you at the end, that it's not about the golden mean. I don't believe that we have like the process or we have the checklist when we can just do check, 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 and yeah, you are not over-promising. No, it's always about this balance of understanding what we can promise. It's all about this balance and understanding the real expectations of the users they have to be able to deliver, because without this understanding, we will be over-promising because we don't know what we should deliver. By having this understanding, it's really easy to find a balance and like make the prioritization to choose, okay, like we will be starting with this and promising this part, and then we are going like with roadmap, like in delivery process, to like grow the expectations with time, not to start with something on the top and then like with Cyberpunk, there is like down a little bit, but still it's a great game. So yeah, so from my side, it's everything. Here we have like QR code to this presentation and also additional materials. To be honest, right now you can find only like list of the books here, but in the next week, if you will be patient, I will just add like a few tools we are using in the company that are helping us to just remember and better understand the expectations. So thank you, and I think like it's a great place for questions right now.
Thank you, Agnieszka. Have a seat. So, the story around expectations that you told there with the cyberpunk game is, your expectations are set high and then the reality doesn't meet it. But sometimes it works the other way too, right? So I would say when it comes to the web, particularly on mobile, people's expectations are just super low now because they expect it to be slow, full of annoying popover dialogues, sign up to our newsletter, invasive tracking. And so what would you give as advice to anyone who's in a situation where they're supposed to implement some of these very user-hostile kind of things, and the argument being given is, hey, it's what people expect. Our competitors are doing it, everyone's doing it, we should do it too.
I know that what I will say will be cliche, but it's like with Ford. Like, people are expecting to have, I don't know, horses who'll be faster, but we need to read between the words what they are really expecting and what they really want to have. Because I think this is the main problem with research sometimes, that we are taking what people are telling us for granted. We are not thinking that we need to discover what's the real need after and below this food, below the all information they are giving to us. So it's a tricky one, but it's rather about thinking where we have this balance of what they are telling us that they are expecting and what's the real need after standing after their words.
But it strikes me as one of the differences between promises and expectations is promises are under your control. You can design it. So content design is, a big part of that. Expectations are kind of out of your control. It's people's previous experiences that you described. And there's Jacob's law, that people spend most of their time on other sites. Isn't that then an argument to not mess with conventions? Don't try to be too innovative. Don't give users something that clashes with their previous expectations.
No, without this, we need to evolve, because we are used to, as a users, to some things. And for me, I was working with different products, and it's not every time was the succeed when we were, for example, entering the market, not because the product was bad, but for example, people were not used to a specific way of using something. But after years, there's a change. It's like the internet. When there was 2001, I think, there was this problem that I'm missing the word. There was a crash when we were thinking about the market, because people were thinking that, okay, internet, nah, not in the future. Nobody will be using this. And we can see right now what's happening. We are living in different worlds. So it's always the risk that we are doing something earlier than people are expecting. But I believe that if we will try to look, it's like with workshop. If you are looking for this balance, that half of the tasks I will be doing on the workshop with the clients will be something I know and they know, they'll be happy. And the another half, it's something new, something I want to try with them. So for sure, the experience at the end will be at least on the neutral level, but maybe we can go beyond, because I was trying something new with them.
Yeah, to find that balance, pushing them beyond the boundaries, but not too much.
Yeah, so not going with innovation for 100%, but smaller percent, step by step, just to also check how people will react and how they will be seeing all these changes.
Is there a crossover here with, I was talking about content design in terms of the promising part, but onboarding a new user using your product, is that a big part of it? Setting their expectations, what they can do, what they can't do?
For me, promising is really wide word when we are thinking, because for me, promising is also the branding. Promising is the visual style, which colors we are using. It's also the promise. It's like with this yogurt, how the yogurt is looking is the promise if it will be tasting as a cheap yogurt or maybe something more fancy and you have, I don't know, more fruits in it. So it's everything that we are creating in the product can be the promise to the customer. And it's really hard to find sometimes if we are promising too much, because we are not thinking that, okay, like by using this color or this font, maybe somebody will be having more expectations because it's looking more fancy. But yeah, I see that it's about everything. Promise, it's not only about communication in text, it's not only about marketing, it's also about the way how we are designing things. It's like even with Google Calendar, when we have, for example, expectations related with the privacy, and we are giving this promise that it will be working, and we are fulfilling this promise by the option that you can choose if the event in your calendar is private or maybe public, or maybe you will be showing other people that you're busy or that you have free slot. So it's also this. It's also about how we design something, design the functionalities.
Yeah, everything contributes. All right, thank you so much, Aga. That's all we have time for, I'm afraid. Please give it up for Aga. All right.